Tension in Vanimo as police and PNG Defence Force shut down informal markets. Fake news and social media highlighted on Media Freedom Day. And PNG and Australia partner for largest hospital extension.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Thursday's news. Papua New Guinea Defence Force and police personnel in Vanimo have carried out orders to remove all informal market stalls. The orders were carried out yesterday with over 50 stalls removed. This has left many in the informal sector confused, with tension forcing shops and government offices to close yesterday. However, this morning, Vanimo police managed to contain the situation.
It was reported that in the early hours of yesterday morning, Vanimo police, with the assistance of the PNGDF, swept through the town and removed every market table and makeshift stalls. The orders came from the Sundown Provincial Executive Council after a decision was made to relocate the informal sector to a newly built market facility. This was not welcomed by vendors as the new facility was far from the town area, which is not good for business. Yesterday, shops, including government offices, were forced to close after a small protest was staged by the vendors. Speaking to MTV News, West Sepik PPC Moses Ipsagi confirmed that tensions were high, but it was because of opportunists. The PPC says all shops and services are back to normal. However, police are monitoring the situation.
This morning, we advised business houses to resume normal, carry on with their normal business. So as it is, the town is now quiet. Everything is back to normal. Businesses are operating as usual. People are moving here and there. So it's not a big deal, I would say. It's only a minor issue that.
Meanwhile, an agreement has been signed between the PNGDF and PNG Customs to tighten security and monitor the flow of goods in and out of the PNG-Indonesia border. This will add more stress on the informal sector in Vanimo, as it solely depends on goods from Indonesia to resell to their customers. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea is ranked 53rd out of 180 countries in the world in terms of the level of freedom available to journalists. This was highlighted in a statement released by the United Nations to commemorate the World Press Freedom Day today.
The 2018 World Press Freedom Day is celebrated around the world under the theme Keeping Power in Checks, Media, Justice and the Rule of Law. The theme highlights the importance of an enabling environment for the press to operate freely. At the international level, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on governments to strengthen press freedom and to protect journalists. In his message, he said, and I quote, "A free press is essential for peace, justice, and human rights for all. It is crucial to building transparent and democratic societies and keeping those in power accountable. It is vital for sustainable development. Journalists and media workers shine a light on local and global challenges and tell the stories that need to be told. Their service to the public is invaluable. Laws that protect independent journalism, freedom of expression, and the right to information need to be adopted, implemented, and enforced. Crimes against journalists must be protected." End of quote. On this day, journalists who were killed in their line of duty are also remembered for their work in gathering, balancing, and disseminating information. 2 days ago, 10 journalists were among 31 people killed in Afghanistan. They were victims of a series of suicide bombings. This again has highlighted the dangers that journalists face in their line of duty. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Observing Media Freedom Day, Media Council Secretary Belinda Cora highlighted key issues faced by journalists in the country. The surge in fake news, social media and harassment of journalists were some challenges that made the list. Cora said the only way to tackle fake news generated on social media means that journalists should strive to verify all information and sources before publishing.
But it seems like if we get our job...
Speaking with MTV today, Cora said an escalation in fake news and news generated on social media challenged the certainty of news presented on the mainstream media.
That has been a very big challenge for mainstream media, where we are forever trying to ensure on a day-to-day basis that we are getting it right and we're getting it first. And I think what's important for us is that because we can't control what people are actually posting on Facebook and, yes, not accurate, not factual news on Facebook, we need to up our game.
She urged journalists to maintain a higher and reputable standard in journalism by verifying their facts thoroughly before publishing.
We need to cut down on having to talk to just one person or one source for information, especially for our news articles. We need to make sure that we are factual, and we need to continue raising the bar. I think that's how the mainstream media is supposed to operate now in order to try and counter the challenges that we have with fake news.
Frankie Kapin, a journalist who suffered harassment earlier this year, said he met his fate because he was accused of publishing fake news.
What happened to me, I think, just if I can relate back to the incident and what really prompted the attack on me, I guess a lot of things were not things but questions were not answered in terms of what really happened. If it was really verified, can be verified that yes, I did write a one-sided story or did a one-sided news of the governor, which was basically the reason why the assault came about. And not only me, but the other my colleagues as well who were blamed and named in the assault was basically relating to one-sided news being published.
Cases like Kapin's are increasingly popular these days. Cora said while people were not aware of the role of journalists, it was also incumbent on journalists themselves to recognize their rights and speak up.
When it happens to you and your cameraman and your driver, the police officer smashes your camera in public and all that, you know that there was a breach. And then you need to start talking to other media houses about that and look, this happened to our cameraman. We want to be able, if we start shutting our mouth, our people don't really realize that that was a terrible thing that we did.
Cora suggested that moving forward, media houses should also consider taking journalists currently studying in universities under their wings and teaching them the same principles before they graduate.
If they can be able to come and work in the mainstream more effectively and more consistently, I think it will be better for not only for the mainstream, where we don't have to retrain them again when they enter the newsroom, but it would lift the quality that we're getting from the universities. Maybe the study curriculum hasn't changed, but mainstream has changed, which means it's important that we must interact.
Melissa Goviro, National MTV News.
Papua New Guinea has opened up dialogue with New Zealand to improve direct investment in areas of agriculture, tourism and higher education. This follows a 4-day visit headed by National Planning Minister Richard Maru. Minister Maru says PNG has more to learn from New Zealand's vibrant economy. He says bilateral discussions will create a new landscape for PNG's thriving economy.
The 4-day visit began in Wellington on the southern tip north of New Zealand. Planning Minister Richard Maru met with New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters and Agriculture Minister Damien O'Connor. 2 areas were covered: New Zealand's aid program to PNG and potentials in the agriculture sector. Minister Maru says this dialogue will open up approaches and potentials where New Zealand can help PNG.
We are now beginning to realize we can do all that, and we are now looking for partners, including companies from New Zealand, to go and help us to develop the dairy industry, to help us to grow the chicken industry, especially the parent stock industry, which is a segment within the poultry industry that we need to engage in.
With New Zealand a country with high biosecurity standards, the government wants to adopt a mirror approach to improve the level of PNG produce to the world market. Minister Maru says this will have a positive impact in revenue collection.
But at the same time, we think if they want to do a trade deal with Papua New Guinea, it has to be on a win-win basis. And I was, as the former trade minister, I've always opposed Pay Plus, because with Pay Plus it'll be one-way traffic. All the goods will be going from Australia to New Zealand into PNG and not the other way. We hardly trade with Australia and New Zealand. That's why we are not, I've never been in favor of Pay Plus.
New Zealand has supported PNG students in the higher education sector. Less than 20 are doing postgraduate studies across New Zealand. At the Victoria University in Wellington, Minister Maru met the executives of the institution to establish sister universities in both countries. The effort is also to upskill staff of universities through various disciplines. A similar visit was paid to Auckland University today, with efforts to further improve academic standards and open up campus in PNG.
Canvass the appetite of Auckland University, which we respect very much, on whether there is an appetite to at least have a look at the opportunity to establish a campus in Papua New Guinea, either by yourself alone or by a partnership with the government of Papua New Guinea and the private sector.
Jack Lopava Jr., National MTV News, Auckland.
You're at National MTV News. We'll have more stories after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Papua New Guinea and Australia are funding the largest extension in the history of Nazarene Hospital in Jiwaka Province through the Incentive Fund. The Incentive Fund, a partnership between the two governments, has delivered 8 million kina, with the hospital providing 2 million kina from its own funding for the extension.
This will be one of the biggest developments in the country involving a hospital. The project includes 70% increase in bed spaces for the emergency department, a doubling of surgical space for outpatients, and the surgical operating theatre. More storage for drugs will be extended, a new laundry and additional obstetric ward, a new nursery, dental clinic, and administration building. The hospital's contribution to the project includes a new pharmacy and laboratory complex, maintenance yard, and a biomedical incinerator.
Increase in outpatients, a 30% increase in surgeries, 30% increase in the amount of medical deliveries, and a 10% increase in dental services. And I think we recognise that that's very necessary, and that this is probably the beginning of just a whole new phase of investment from both the PNG government.
The project is expected to be completed in June 2020. The hospital is operated by Nazarene Health Ministries and is the province's only hospital, which serves a population of about 40,000 people. This is the third project for the Incentive Fund and the Nazarene Hospital. In 2006, the Incentive Fund provided 6.2 million for a major upgrade, and in 2011 provided 9.7 million to construct the hospital's hydroelectric dam. The initiation was officially launched by Australia High Commission Minister Councillor Benedict David.
60,000 outpatients per year. Our surgery department is growing. We're the main surgical training site for the Masters in Rural and Remote Medicine program for Papua New Guinea, and we hope to take surgical registrars in the near future.
And on the government side, we were very mindful of that. And so over the last 3 years, we were able to agree on all the terms and conditions and how we wanted this development from the Nazarene Hospital come Nazarene General Hospital as Jiwaka Provincial.
Following the completion of reconstruction, the hospital should be able to increase the number of patients in the outpatient and improve services for the locals. This will also allow a growth in recruitment of qualified and trained nurses. Godwin Eki, National MTV News.
Colgate-Palmolive PNG Limited launched the Mum You First campaign this morning at Gerahu General Hospital. They presented 7,000 starter kits to the NCD Health Services and Gerahu General Hospital. An additional 5,000 kits will also be provided to Leh District Health Services. Their aim is to reach out to mothers and caregivers to introduce good oral health practices to children.
Mothers, babies, children and fathers gathered at the Well Baby Clinic at Gerahu General Hospital to witness the launching of the Mum You First campaign initiated by Colgate-Palmolive PNG Limited. This campaign was first launched in 2013 with the main focus of motivating mothers to be influential role models to their children.
Mothers to take an extra 2 minutes to brush their teeth with their children. By doing this, children are encouraged to maintain healthy habits of brushing twice a day.
A total of 7,000 starter kits were handed over to the NCD Health Services and Gerahu General Hospital.
These kits consist of a child's toothbrush, an adult's toothbrush, Colgate toothpaste and fun educational flyers. So mums, there's no excuses. You get a toothbrush and your child gets a toothbrush. How good is that?
Esteemed guest, wife of the Prime Minister, Linda Babao O'Neill, challenged the mothers to be good role models to their children by brushing their teeth.
Are our children's first teachers. We shape the way our children will act for the rest of their lives. As a mother, I know all mothers want the best for their children and want them to grow up strong and healthy. One of the most important things we can teach our children is how to have healthy teeth and gums. It is important to start young, as soon as the child has teeth, 18 months. So not only do we protect their teeth, but also get them into a habit of brushing their teeth at least 2 times a day for the rest of their lives.
Gerahu General Hospital CEO Stephen Yenny expressed his appreciation for the support of Colgate.
That Gerahu General Hospital has captured oral health care hygiene in terms of our dental care service, structure submission to Department of Personnel Management, which was approved last week. So we are therefore looking forward to establish a partnership service by promoting and conducting awareness on oral health care facility, oral health care in this facility.
National health educator Megan Gangloff demonstrated to those present the proper way of brushing teeth. After brushing teeth and gums, it is important to brush the tongue too.
Toothbrush, you can brush behind the front teeth.
These kits will be provided to 20 urban clinics and hospitals that are participating this year to be given to each mother and caregiver. Lilian Soperakinea, National EMTV News.
The Mineral Resources Development Company has refurbished a 2 double-story classroom for students at Lea Primary in the Karukuhiri district. The refurbishment comes after the classrooms were left incomplete because of limited funding by the central provincial government. This morning, the classrooms were officially opened for students' use.
The 2 double classrooms were refurbished at a cost of over 300,000 kina. This includes the donation of a new ambulance for the Lea community. The assistance by MRDC comes as a relief for parents of students attending Lea Primary.
And this building, which has witnessed, is the official opening of the double-story classroom. It was initially started off by central provincial government through the IDG. However, after the election, there were some problems of financial shortfall, and we stayed until sometime last year because of the delay. So we asked our GR company to assist.
The refurbishment was done under MRDC's Gas Resources PNG Plant Limited, a company that oversees projects undertaken by MRDC and gives back to the local communities.
Infected by termites. So in the long run, we've seen already. So whilst we have the opportunity from the benefits of the LNG product, we already received the gas, the royalty for 2014, 15, 16, the royalty. Equity still coming. And out of that royalty, there are three parts of it. First part, that 40% we already got as in cash for the forward. The other one, as MD said, future generation, and this other part is for our community investment. So these are the fruits of the royalty, and also the community service ambulance as well.
In Boyera and Papa, MRDC is doing renovations on 3 double classrooms, while in Porebada, a memorandum of understanding was signed to build a new health center. Thakla Gunga, National, EMTV News.
Stop and Shop Waigani Central officially reopened at about noon today. It had been closed after a fire destroyed the building in July of 2015. CPL Managing Director Mahesh Patel said he is grateful and thankful for the concerted efforts of the staff as well as suppliers who supported them during the fire incident.
Stop and Shop Waigani Central has officially opened its doors to customers. This is following a fire destroying the building in July of 2015.
So it's been a long time. But, the tremendous effort that our staff did to get this up and running today was just mind-boggling. I arrived at the store at 6 in the morning today, and there was letters, there's people running around, there's cleaners, there's packing chef. I thought, oh my God, are we going to open today or not? 12 o'clock was the deadline, and we did open.
There are new additions that come with the newly reconstructed building. Bon Cafe now has tables and chairs for customers to sit and 2 clinics at the city pharmacy area. The structure once again houses a big meat section, its own bakery, and a modern liquor store.
It's given us time to understand the customer demographics, and 3 years the customer's taste has changed as well. I mean, there's a lot of basic items, but there's a lot of new lines as well. I mean, the bakery is going to do it, I think, about 6 different lines today. In the meat section, there's about 10 or 12 different products. Cheeses, there's about 15 different types of cheeses. And if you go into different aisles, there's different products and stuff that we've added on. So, no, it's a new beginning for us. It's been the day I've been waiting for.
A customer, Asunta Nungi, was very excited that Stop and Shop Waigani Central is finally open. She says it is bigger and better and a one-stop shop.
Local and Sego. Yes. I saw Sego and I said, what about time Sego is on the shelves? So we don't have to go to the market, get Sego and come here to get protein. We come here, we can get Sego and we can get protein and off we go. That's why it's fabulous, incredible.
CPL is still supporting the local community by helping farmers to sell their fruits and vegetables, which comprises of 70% of Stop and Shop's produce section.
They have done a fantastic job, from the cleaner right down to the top management. Without them, this thing would not be open today.
Lilian Soperakinea, National, EMTV News.
30 shelters for displaying flowers, trees and vegetables were built today by more than 30 young missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Lae. The display will be part of the Lae Flower and Garden Show to be held next weekend.
This is the National Botanic Gardens in Lae. It was established in 1949. The garden is used for research, conservation and recreation for the residents of Lae and PNG. The center was closed to the public for more than 10 years due to law and order issues. It was reopened in late 2015 as part of the Lae National Botanic Garden Advancement Program. The effort was made by Friends of Lae Botanic Gardens, PNG Forest Research Institute and some business houses.
We intend to raise funds to use the women's groups that are participating in the show now
maintain the help us maintain the garden, like weeding and cleaning, planting new plants in the gardens. So making it. We want to sell the garden, but we want to tidy it up first, make it safer before we open it up to the public to say, come enjoy the gardens.
The Ley National Botanic Garden Advancement Program, through the support of the Friends of the Ley Botanic Garden, organized a flower and garden show to raise funds to help revive the garden. These young missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints volunteered to help build 30 shelters today to accommodate the displaced next weekend.
Because the elders, they come from all over the world. We have young missionaries from between the age of 19 to 23 that go out and serve an 18 months service.
I'm 18 years old. I'm from America, and I'm Tongan, but I live in America. So, mi hama maslo kam lo serve mission here.
Mi hama maslo se mi got the chance to come and look sabe this place. But before me come lo PNG, mi no sabe was in PNG stop. So now me come finish na mi look sabe was in PNG nice flap. Mi hama maslo stop.
The Ley Flower and Garden Show, which will be held on the 11th to the 13th of this month, will be the first of its kind here in Ley. The exhibitors from the flower and corporate groups will display flowers, trees, fruits and vegetables. There will be 5 categories of entry with each winning awards. Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Ley.
To another story on Media Freedom Day. To commemorate the day, our Ley Bureau spoke to a few Ley-based journalists about their roles, challenges and what media freedom means to them. A few months ago, Ley reporter Frankie Kapin was assaulted following reports published on the media. Today he reflected on the incident, saying it's made him realize that people still need to understand the role of the media and the challenges faced in getting information.
I guess a lot of things.
As Papua New Guinea marks Media Freedom Day, there is a lot to talk about, including the past, present and the future of media freedom in Papua New Guinea. When Papua New Guinea gained independence, we had one of the most vibrant media in the Pacific. In the 70s and 80s, Papua New Guinea on the fringes of Asia saw to the west abuses by Indonesian authorities against free press. To the islands, in New Caledonia, the independence movement triggered threats and intimidation.
So I see there's a need for awareness to educate people in the government system especially, and of course some members of the public as well, as to our role, what we do, and they should help us disseminate the correct information, the truth to the people, the public, the audience.
Over the last 30 years, Papua New Guinea has been faced with its own media freedom challenges. Assaults and intimidation have become regular, with journalists, camera crews and photographers bearing the brunt of the assaults.
The media in Papua New Guinea is not even free, because every time we write or we say something, we've been threatened, we've been given court orders, or we've been suppressed at all means.
Over the last 12 months, journalists in Ley have been the focus of international attention after one was assaulted and the others threatened.
For us in Papua, we still have a long way for the general public at the most to really understand and appreciate the job of journalists and in regards to media freedom.
As journalists all over the world reflect on the future of media freedom, new challenges have come to the fore. How does the mainstream media handle the inaccuracies of social media? How does it remain relevant and maintain its integrity in the face of rapidly delivered user-generated content? Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Ley.
You're with Thursday's News. We'll be back with more of the day's other stories when we come back. Welcome back to the news. A primary school in Madang is on the verge of sending students home if the tuition fee-free funds are not paid to the school on time. The school only received its first payment of 20,000 kina and is still waiting for the second batch. The 20,000 kina is the administrative component of the TFF funds. However, the school was forced to use the money for other necessities in order to function until the end of this term.
Talidik Primary is a level 6 school located along the North Coast Road of Madang Province. Vice Chairman of Talidik Primary, Daniel Martin, says they're looking at closing down the school and sending students home if the TFF delay continues. This will affect at least 600 students.
They will be affected. We hope to not pretend, but we'll be calling a PCA meeting and maybe we will close the school. That's the reality. We can pretend to continue and run the school as it is because when we don't have money.
Delay in the TFF payments has also affected students' learning as well as the teachers. 3 weeks ago, the school received its teacher and learning component. However, each student received only 7 exercise books to last them for the whole year.
So if those 7 subjects, if the books given now, exercise books, given for those 7 subjects, if they're used now till end of the term, where will they get the other exercise books? When I came to this school, there were no exercise books. Students were struggling to write. They were using 1 book for the 7 subjects till we received these materials 3 weeks ago.
Mrs. Maya says for teaching and learning, she was only given 3 boxes of chalks, saying these things are not enough for her to assist her to impart learning to the students from now till the end of the year.
The cuts, not receiving the full payments has really had a great impact on the students' learning and the teachers as well. Like right now, looking at our background, the classroom that we have, we don't receive the infrastructure, the TFF component for infrastructure. So we are learning in an unsafe environment. And likewise, teachers, they are living conditions, houses too. They're living in rundown houses and then trying their best to come and deliver the services, teaching the students in the classroom. And in the teaching and learning in the classroom, we are really suffering. We just received the TFF teaching and learning component 3 weeks ago, and receiving only 7 books for the whole year. I don't know how the students are going to cope because the TFF has really spoiled the parents' mind. They're relying on the TFF and they're not coming in to support their children, paying books and all this. So in all, the other stakeholders are not helping too. So our teaching and learning in the classroom is really affected.
The 20,000 kina has already been exhausted and the school is now borrowing money to operate until the second batch of TFF payment comes in.
Talidik, we received TFF component. There are 3 components of the TFF. 1 is the infrastructure component. 2 is student stations and learning component. And 3 is the administration component. To this, we only receive component of administration, which is for cater for administration, but somehow we need to expand it into other areas. The last, 3 weeks ago, we received a little stationaries from TFF. I don't know when it's going to finish, and then the next one will be due to come on or something like that. Because we only receive stationaries, but the learning material for students are not in place. We have nothing.
Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Still in Madang, a vice chairman of a primary school in the province says his school has been submitting TFF quarterly reports on expenses. Hence, this should not be an excuse for the Provincial Education Department to raise concerns on delays to TFF payments. His remarks were in response to schools not providing acquittals for TFF funds.
Talidik Primary School, we give every monthly report to the school authorities in place, TFF and other expenses that we use. like we give the monthly report, and based on the monthly report, people like the TFF coordinators, they are sitting in the office and they are not doing their job. If they should be visiting the school to see if the money is been expended or utilized or used accordingly, then they will have a fair idea of how the school is running. Some of the schools in Medellin, some of them are very big, some of them are small, and due to they have their own problems of how they run their schools. But to us, we submitted every TFF quarterly expense report. Like we have the 20,000, we already finished that report and it's already gone. So for me, I don't think this is an excuse that we'll be saying that other schools are not giving the expense report. Because based on the new expense report format, they don't receive receipts attached to it. They only go by a format where you explain what you use for that money and that's it. The board, they sign, their teacher, they sign, and that's it, that's a report.
Authorities in Lae have set up a working committee to address the issues of new illegal settlements in the city. Lae Police Boss Anthony Wagambi Jr. says the issues have to be addressed early before they become permanent. This has been the cause of petty crimes and lawlessness. The executives of the working committee will be appointed next week, Tuesday.
These problems must be addressed now before these new illegal settlements, they grow their roots. When they grow their roots, it becomes difficult for us to remove them. So this is why we are addressing it now. And we have agreed that we will have a working committee to work on this, which will be headed by a chairman, which they will appoint when they first meet next week, Tuesday. And we will move on these issues as soon as possible.
Day 3 of consultations for the Draft Disability Authority Bill 2018 saw government departments, development partners and stakeholders analysing draft bill. Many recommendations were aimed at the makeup of the structure for the authority. It also critiqued loopholes in the registration channel. The recommendations raised will be taken into consideration by the Constitutional and Law Reform Commission when finalising the bill. Tomorrow, consultation will be open for the general public to critique, comment and make recommendations. Minister for Environment, Conservation and Climate Change John Pundari recently announced an impending total ban on plastic. With plans to stop the use of plastic bags in 2019, the solution of using biodegradable or eco-friendly bags will be the way forward for a greener Papua New Guinea.
In 2014, a plastic ban policy was announced by the Department of Environment and Conservation. 4 years on, Minister responsible John Pundari, in recent interview, said strict actions would be imposed in efforts to totally ban all plastic bags. The department is currently reviewing the use of biodegradable and eco-friendly bags. Well-known global environment reports continue to highlight the significant impact caused by plastic bags on food sources and marine habitats. According to research in 1950, the world's population of 2.5 billion produced 1.5 million tons of plastic. In 2016, a global population of more than 7 billion people produced over 320 million tons of plastics. This is set to double by the year 2025 to 2034. Every day, approximately 8 million pieces of plastic bags find their way into our oceans. Papua New Guinea imports nearly 460,000 kilograms of plastic bags every year. This is on record and assessed by authorities. However, other plastic bags are illegally entering the country. Businesses and manufacturers using plastic bags in the country will be urged to use other methods of packaging that are biodegradable and eco-friendly. With soaring statistics of plastic bag pollution around the world, one's rhetorical mindset should be based on questions: how many animals are killed by plastic each year, how plastic pollution is caused, how many fish in the sea are killed by plastic each year, and how plastic waste is produced in the world. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
Chukai Sport is next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. To football, the 2018 season of the National Soccer League ended with the round 14 games played last weekend. Interestingly, the NSL board came out clear with a solution during a meeting held late yesterday. The solution was to forfeit all 12 washout matches and the competition points to be given to the teams that have fully paid their affiliation fee.
Number 6, Samuel Kinney.
The National Soccer League manager Leslie Babaga, in a statement, said the main reason for the washouts is administrative failures by respective franchise managements regarding their financial obligations. Further said numerous letters were sent out advising the franchise managements of their payments, but to date, no one met their financial responsibilities. He explained that NSL cannot prolong the competition any longer, as it is very costly for some teams that accommodate players. Babaga confirmed that only 4 teams made full payment: Toti City FC, FC Morobe Wowens, Besta PNG United FC and Mideng FC. The board has also agreed that the National Soccer League semi-finals and grand final will be played in Leh at the St. Ignatius Kilagi Stadium. The semi-final will be on the 12th of this month, while the grand final will be on the following week. The format of the semi-final will be 1 versus 4 and 2nd versus 3rd. The top 4 teams will be announced next week, together with the official announcement of the minor premier. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
The NCD Vipers are aiming to finish in the top 5 at the end of this year's PNG National Rugby League competition. They lost their first 2 games but managed to get back into the winner's circle after defeating 2017 premiers, the Leh Snakes Tigers.
The Vipers team management have enforced better team discipline both on and off the field. Coach Joe Siba says they have cut down on a few ill habits, which has proven to be successful with the way the team has performed over the past 4 rounds.
It's discipline off the field and on the field as well, so cut down on drinking and all this. Go tough in our training. If any of our players misses 1 game, we penalize, or 1 training session, we penalize them. So that's how that's the result that can make an arm.
Their aim is to make it to the finals, but Siba says though it is a big challenge, they will take 1 game at a time.
Our aim this year is to make it into the final, but as we go along, we take 1 game at a time. We look at our mistake in our attack and defense and work on it and polish up on that to go forward for another game.
The team has seen the inclusion of many new players.
New boys and the experience that we have former Kumul Lassen Marabe coming in to help us, and Thompson Tete.
The first win this year was against 2017 premiers Leh Snakes Tigers in round 3. This weekend they take on the Egmak Rabal Gurias at the National Football Stadium. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The PNG Women's National Snooker titles will be held from the 21st to the 26th of this month in Port Moresby. Between 30 to 50 women from around the country are expected to participate. Matches will be played at the Lamana Q Club, Aviat and Laguna Hotel. Chukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Cricket PNG has time and again outsourced expertise from Australian cricket to assist the national teams prepare towards their international tours. This time, Tasmanian wicketkeeper and coach Tim Coyle will bring his experience into the national side. For the Lowers, the ICC Women's T20 World Cup qualifiers in Netherlands is now only 2 months away, and any further expert guidance at this point will make a difference. The Barras, on the other hand, will travel to Fiji. However, Vani Vagimora's resignation is expected to cause a dent in the batting lineup. New Australian cricket coach Justin Langer believes disgraced trio Steve Smith, David Warner and Cameron Bancroft still have a future in the team. Langer comes in as a former gritty test opener with the sizable task of rebuilding the national side.
He's been entrusted to sort out the ugly side of Australian cricket, and Justin Langer is coming in with some hard messages.
Everyone knows what right and wrong is. Everyone knows the difference between right and wrong. That's simple.
That wrong being the ball tampering scandal which exposed Steve Smith, Dave Warner and Cameron Bancroft as Aussie cheats. But Langer is keeping the door open for the disgraced trio to return.
They want to keep getting better and they want to meet the standards of the Australian cricket team, then of course they'll be welcome back.
The 47-year-old replaces former coach Darren Lehmann with a 4-year contract, taking Australia through 2 Ashes series, a World Cup and World T20 tournament. Langer had a decorated career himself, wearing the baggy green in 105 tests with 23 centuries, 3 of them against New Zealand and a double ton. Today, he fronted the media exactly the way he played.
It's not just about how we play our cricket, it's also about being good citizens and being good Australians.
He's turned around team cultures before, bringing Western Australia out of a dysfunctional period.
We all know that what the acceptable behaviours are. There's a difference between competitiveness and aggression, and we've got to be careful with that.
His challenge of restoring pride back into the national outfit starts at the end of this month.
People see me as really serious, tough, serious. That's my public persona, I guess. But I'm also a bit of a hippie. 1 month every year I like to grow a beard and not wear shoes.
Maybe that's just the culture they need.
That ends True Kai Sports. Up next with the details for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: fine apart from a shower or 2 in Daru, Kerema and Popondetta, fine weather, and in Alota, mostly fine. In the Mamasa region, fine in Lae, mostly fine in Madang, fine apart from a shower or 2 in Wewak and a shower or 2 in Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, fine weather in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and a shower or 2 in Buka. And in the Highlands region, a shower or 2, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, Goroka and Kundiawa, and fine into morning fog in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather details were proudly brought to you by Dulux, celebrating 50 years in PNG and the only paint made in PNG.
Here's a recap of tonight's main stories. Tension in Vanimo as police and PNG Defence Force shut down informal markets. Fake news and social media highlighted on Media Freedom Day. And PNG and Australia partner for largest hospital extension. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight, Thursday, 3rd of May 2018. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, good night.